In today's lesson, we're going to look at how we can multiply and divide fractions.
Let's consider multiplying fractions by whole numbers first. For example, 3/4 times 3. Using fraction discs, we can see that 3/4 times 3 is simply 3 sets of 3/4. By counting the number of quarters, we see that we have 9 quarters, which can be written as 9/4. Notice that the denominator remains as 4, and the numerator is the same as 3 times 3, which is the multiplication of the numerator with the whole number. Since 4 quarters make a whole, 8 quarters make 2 wholes, and we can write 9 quarters as 2 whole and 1 quarter. Another example we is half times 5. Again we have 5 sets of half, and by counting we know we have 5 halves, or 5/2. This is the same as the numerator times the whole number over the denominator, which remains the same. Since 2 halves make a whole, 5/2 can also be written as 2 wholes and 1 half. Now let's look at how to multiply two fractions with each other. For example, 3/4 times half. Let's first represent 3/4 in the diagram below. We shade 3 out of 4 pieces of the whole since 3/4 is what we want. To multiply by half is the same as to divide by 2, so we divide each piece into 2 equal pieces, and we only take half of what we originally had. This gives us 3 pieces out of a total of 8 pieces, which is 3/8 when written as a fraction. Notice that the denominator of the answer is simply a multiplication of the two denominators, and so is the numerator. Moving on to division, we first explore how to divide a fraction by a whole number. For example, 3/4 divide by 2. Recall from our previous example that dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by half, so 3/4 divide by 2 is simply 3/4 times half, which gives us 3/8 as in our previous example. So in order to divide fractions, we simply change the divide to times and flip the fraction that comes after the division sign. We call this the keep change flip. Similarly, for dividing fractions, we can use the keep change flip method. To divide 4/5 by 2/3, we simply keep 4/5, change divide to times, and then flip 2/3 to become 3/2. Recall that to multiply fractions, we multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. So we get 12/10, which can be simplified by dividing both the numerator and denominator by 2 to give 6/5, which is the same as 1 whole and 1/5. Using the same techniques that you've just learned, can you figure out how to divide 4 by 3/5?